guys, welcome to Podcast Fandom. I'm your host, Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm John.
And we are back to start a brand new season of Only Murders in the Building, the Hulu original series starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. We covered the first season last summer, right?
Or is it Only Murderers in the Building?
Okay, Brazos, listen. Okay, we just...
This takes the case in a whole new direction.
You both...
Reboot.
Okay, here we go. I don't know what I was thinking, podcasting a show with two... a show about, like, two pun... comedian goofy white dudes podcasting it with two goofy white dudes. What was I thinking?
I don't know. It's a genius idea, I think.
Jesus. We just...
No, I say genius.
See? We just recorded for The Boys. We talked about, Donnie and I did. We talked about season 3, episodes 6 and 7. Those are the penultimate. Like, the next week's episode is the season 3 finale. John still hasn't watched season 3. But we...
Oh, well,
That's shade. She's subtle shade.
Well, I wasn't shade.
Watch out for the bus.
I just wanted the listeners to know that I would not be spoiling them or John. I'm not going to go into details. That wasn't the point of the story because John hasn't seen it yet. But the point of the story was that we just did that podcast and I did the intro and I was like, we're going to be talking about The Boys season 3, episode 6 and 7. And before I could continue to say anything else, Donnie cuts me off and he says, yeah, the boys are back in town. And I'm like... And then in the feedback, Peyton, the boys are back in town, ho ho ho, with a smiley face. And I'm like, don't you fucking start. You guys are the worst. Anyway. But yeah, Only Murders in the Building. The second season released on Hulu a couple of days ago. Like I said, we covered the first season last summer, and I think we did it the same way we're going to be doing it this summer, where we record a podcast covering several episodes at once. At this point, I think what we're going to try to do is 2 at a time. It's a 35 minute show, and it's a comedy. It's not typically the genre I think we've been covering on the podcast, right? But right. I'm trying to think if we covered a comedy before.
Any other comedies?
I don't think we have. I feel like I don't think we have, like, The Good Place, but we didn't finish that. We started, but we didn't finish on premium.
I never finished this. I never finished.
I know. I'm like, it's at this point now where I'm just scared because, like, I enjoyed it and I know it's over and I don't want to know that it's over. So if I don't go watch it, it never happened. I'm pulling a Kaylee, basically. Kaylee doesn't finish series for that very reason. She's like, if I never finish it, then it never ended. But yeah, that format I think works best for this type of show. We're going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of season 2 because those are the episodes that they dropped for the season 2 premiere. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about episodes 3 and 4. So as we do, we will talk about our overall thoughts on the show being back, and then we'll just talk about very loose the events of these 2 episodes and this new murder mystery. Not really new because this was the body found at the end of last season. Like, we knew this was going to be the case, but we'll dive into details. So I'll start with you, John. What did you think?
It's great. It's great to have the show back.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, just, Steve Martin, Martin Short. It's really nice to have them here. I mean, Selena Gomez is just as, she's just as good as she was last season. She's great with them. I think they have really good chemistry together. There are some guest stars that I'm not super thrilled with.
Oh my God. I was like, why are there so many problematic white people on this show this season? Fucking Michael Rappaport, which I remember when he was cast, and I was just like, ugh. Yeah. But then I forgot because, so much TV. And then I was like tweeting the other day, like, oh, Only Murders in the Building. I'm going to watch that later. I'm going to get high and watch it. And Kimberly, like, tweeted me back and she was like, yeah, Michael Rappaport. And I was like, girl, why'd you remind me? But I appreciate the warning, sis, because you do have to kind of prepare yourself for that walking cum stain. I hate him.
I don't think we'll see a lot of them though.
Good.
That's the thing is like, not only is he in the show, he's like the first fucking guy on the screen.
Yes, with lines and shit. I was like, ugh. I gotta hear him. I gotta see him.
But they poked fun. Like I felt like they poked fun at him a little bit. Like yeah.
You think?
I didn't.
I think they were poking fun at like dumb New York cops.
Well, that too, but I think it's poking fun. Like I just don't see him being on the show as much as we think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely going to be another. They're going to be called in for questions and shit because they can't help themselves. They're doing all the shit Detective William told them not to do already. So I feel like he may, he'll probably pop in about as often as she did last season. Hopefully less though, because he sucks and she doesn't. Go ahead, John.
Right. And so yeah, I mean, so it's not great that he's there. Not great. Amy Schumer's there.
Ugh.
But but like the show itself, like I really enjoy that. Like it's leaning into the second season of it, Like,
yeah.
Like, not only is it like because they're making the second season of their podcast, like it feels like they're able to make like those, break the fourth wall kind of jokes, like meta jokes. But also like the characters this season, because like it feels like they really. Like they know these characters, and because they've had them for a season, and like they've had an audience for this show for a season, like they're able to lean into like the stuff about these characters.
Yeah,
Like Oliver retorting all the time.
Right.
All that stuff. Like when I think when Mabel says something, and the detective's like, "Don't you start," So it's like. He's like, don't you be a smart ass, and he's like, that's kind of her thing.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like that's. That kind of stuff, it's nice.
Or even when she was like, Mabel, tell the short one to stop recording.
Right, exactly. It's like they're able to like lean into that shit, and so like that's fun. It's really fun that they're doing that, and also like all the other characters being back, like they're cool. Like
I forgot how much I enjoyed like the oh fuck, of course now I'm like drawing a blank on his name. Is it Henry, the neighbor with the cats? Howard. Yeah. And just that building is a fucking hoot. Like, I forgot how, like, homegirl from the, like, when she came up to me, I was like, Donnie, that's, because, I was like, no, I knew. I was like, that's the girl that sells the gut milk.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
And then I don't remember, is Shirley MacLaine problematic as well? Because I don't remember.
I don't think so. I
didn't think so.
Listen, I feel like if you go looking, every white famous person is going to have something because y'all don't know no better. Like, sometimes it'll be blatant, hard, like, oh, you was butt wild and racist on Twitter back in the day. And sometimes it's just, like, low-key problematic shit because y'all are ignorant to stuff. So, I wouldn't be surprised. Right. But, I mean, isn't she, like, into, like, psychic shit and, like, reincarnation? I would feel like if you're that enlightened, you can't be racist, right? Like...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like when she
if you found all that enlightenment and reincarnation and you're racist in every life, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you're trying.
Right, exactly.
But that's the thing, is like when she showed up, like there was no like bad feeling that I had.
Right.
I was like, oh shit, Shirley MacLaine.
Right. The only thing I was just like, holy shit, is that Shirley MacLaine? And I don't know why I was so shocked that a show with like Steve Martin and Martin Short would get Shirley MacLaine. I was like, how did niggas get her?
Right. But it was really nice. It was like, yeah, like this is the kind of shit that you need to get her on here. You need to get these kind of people on the show. Like, people that, like, I can see and not be like, ugh.
Yeah.
And throw up in my mouth.
Exactly. What about you, Nani?
No, yeah, definitely. I liked it. Like, it did seem weird that they almost, like, fired a bunch of actors. It felt to me like we were missing actors, and they kind of just tossed it to the side and brought in new actors.
It was so funny when, I'm sorry, it was really, because we just watched the second episode before we recorded for The Boys. And, well, actually, we watched them both, right?
Yeah,
but we really paid attention to the second because we had both seen the first one already. Right. So I was just like taking little notes, and we really paid attention to the second one. And it was right at the moment that I looked at you, and I was like, "Where's her boo thing?" And because I couldn't think of his name, and then that's when Oliver was like, "Oh, is that Oscar?" Because she was texting.
Yeah, she was smiling
or something. Yeah, and I was like. I was like, oh, that's his name. And then I was like, when she said, we're just waiting for the let's be friends text. I think we're both waiting. I was like, oh, I can't believe they got rid of him so she could go.
They just fired his ass.
So she could go make out with eyebrows. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, that seemed weird to me. I was waiting for more of the other podcast and Tina Fey. Like they did the great
I'm glad we didn't get a lot of that.
But I feel like it's almost going to be a competition this season because they're interviewing them. So
right.
Because they're doing a podcast about them, I expected to see them more in these 2 episodes.
I'm okay with not because I like this.
No, I
like them. I don't want to,
right.
But I do like that they did use Tina Fey or Cena Cannings, whatever her name is, opening to her show to kind of catch us up on what the world thinks
of them,
of our 3 people following the events of the first season.
Yeah.
But I will say, I just want to say this with stuff with Oscar, like, because again, just saw it, haven't talked about it. That's why we're here. It just occurred to me. What I don't like about that is that they're doing that thing where they want us to feel like more time has passed than it did. So, you know what I mean? Where they're moving the story along at a rate that's faster than it actually is. Because she was like kissing him goodbye. They lived together.
Who?
Oscar. And then they went up to the roof. Remember he left? Like, they were together. And then Bunny was killed. Remember, the whole thing was Bunny was wearing the tie-dye hoodie.
I think Bunny... Okay, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying? So how are her and Oscar waiting for a breakup text? Like, they have been drifting apart when it has only been a few days since Bunny. That's what I mean.
Right, and that's where it feels weird that they kind of just jumped into this. Because this feels like it's right after the first season. Because literally she comes home and rips the caution tape clean.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is.
Right.
But in terms of things like this relationship, they want us to feel like more time has passed.
But it hasn't.
But it hasn't, because I'm not stupid, so I know. So when she says things like, I think we're just both waiting for the let's be friends text. Like, it has only been, 2 weeks, right? Yeah. At most, these 2 episodes.
Right.
Well, I mean, we just had Bunny's memorial service and all that. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry. Were you done?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. I'm enjoying it, though. It's still funny. They have a lot of great one-liners.
Yes. That's what I like the most. I like that this show, I feel like with other comedies, like situation comedies, I realize how they're setting up the jokes. And because, to me, a lot of the premises are kind of formulaic. Like, the whole, the parents going out of town and then the kid's going to have a party. But then something happens where the parents come back early. That type of thing. Like, you see, where the jokes are being set up. Mm-hmm. But with this show, it's like, I don't know when I'm going to laugh. Because... They can, him sitting that damn dip on the table, talking about but no, when he says, if you're at this party, you agree to being recorded.
Just suddenly, just put that
on a post-it note on that fucking dip of the fucking guy who was the criminal in the first season.
That's the thing, is it feels like with a lot of sitcoms, like most sitcoms, it's like the show is guiding the comedy, right? Like where the writing is really guiding it where it goes. This show, because it's Martin Short and Steve Martin, it's like they are guiding it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's their sensibilities, and it's written to their ability to do what they do, and so it doesn't feel like a typical sitcom. It feels like them.
And it just feels. And in that regard, I like it because I like unexpected laughs. It's like one of my favorite experiences in life. If I could get it several times a day, where you're just scrolling through and you're reading a tweet and it like doesn't end the way you thought it was going to end. You just a laugh that just comes out of you that you can't control it. You're embarrassed because it was so loud, but it was just that funny. I get that from this show. So.
At least once an episode.
Yeah. At least once.
I told you mine.
The other stuff you could just sit there and chuckle,
episode,
but there's
it made me laugh.
Oh my god, yes. All right, so let's talk about it. The first one, persons of interest. We talked about the one of the new supporting characters is played by Michael Rappaport. Him and Detective Williams, is that her name? Let me scroll.
Yeah,
down.
you said it. Yeah, it is.
Because
you wrote it down. I saw you go back and read it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you did see me go back. I'm just making sure I was right when I did that. They're interrogating the three of them, and I'm glad that this kind of got somewhat cleared up kind of quickly. Like they didn't have anything. Where Mabel was like, "Wait a minute," because they don't even have the murder weapon, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because she wouldn't say anything. She kept saying lawyer. Then they go to the other two guys and
she goes, "No,
Steve
I'm
Martin
asking if you're a lawyer because you're so smart."
But her whole thing, she wouldn't talk.
So
they kept going to Steve Martin, and he kept getting into character, like reenacting Brazos. Martin Short just fucking gave up on everything. He was
like, I always was suspicious of Mabel.
He's like, because they were focused on Mabel because she's the one with the body,
like, right?
But then,
he's
like, no, he's like, Mabel wouldn't do this. He's like, oh well, maybe you did it. He's like, you know what, Mabel may have done it.
The big, I guess the three big things that set up our characters, like kind of motivation for continuing this podcast, are introduced in this first episode. Because at first Mabel is like, listen, this is a real thing that happened. It was traumatic. I just need to live my life without death. Like, maybe we should just not do this anymore. And then she's recruited by this woman who sees her mural, the mural that she painted in the first season in her apartment. I guess she posted it online. And this woman who runs, who's part of an art collective, invites Mabel to come to their gallery. She's basically courting her. And then it got gay. And I was like, yes! I was so excited. I was like, Kaylee, it's gay!
Yeah!
I don't know, Dawn, I didn't tell you. Well, I think people who listen to me and Kaylee do other podcasts, like, it started with All of Us Are Dead, I think, where Kaylee and I realized that, we when you're watching a show and you're trying to figure out if a relationship is going to be gay.
You guys really wanted that to be gay.
Yeah. Oh my God. I still feel like they fucked with us so hard. So we were watching, we covered this K-drama, zombie K-drama, All of Us Are Dead, which is coming back for a second season. I'm so fucking excited. And there was like this relationship between these two guys, and we were like, I think that's the twist, like they're going to be gay. And Kaylee and I were like, but then it wasn't. And so then we just, like, we realize when we watch shows, when that happens, we look at each other, we're like, is it gay? But then it got to the point where we're just being silly now. So it could be like anything. Like a guy can like bump into another guy and be like, oh, excuse me. And we'll be like, oh, that's so gay. That's going to be gay. Because we know we're going to, right? But we know we're going to be disappointed. But then occasionally we're right. Or we're just surprised. Like there's like a surprise gay relationship. So
you were surprised on this one.
Well, no, I wasn't, only because the chick playing whatever her name is,
Cara Delevingne.
Okay, white man.
The character's Alice Banks,
is it Alice? Okay. I thought for some reason I was thinking Alice. The way she was playing it, she came off like she's flirting.
Yes.
She's, like this. I felt like if this woman was talking to me, I would be like, oh, she's down.
Right.
But I'm just saying. But Selena Gomez is Mabel's character. They never gave us any indication.
Right.
So I was thinking at best, worst, whatever, I thought it's probably going to be something where she's going to turn this poor girl down, right? And also, I feel like Alice is sketchy as fuck. I don't trust her. So
yeah, that's the thing. Is like I like all of them. Alice, Amy Schumer.
Right.
I think all of them are like sus.
Yes.
And I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't shocked. But then when in the second episode, I think it's the second episode, when they tell us about her and Oscar, then I was like, okay, yeah, that's where it's going to go. But only when they
They're
clear
setting that up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, now I get where they're going. So yeah, she's recruited by Alice. Oliver is recruited by Amy Schumer, who wants to buy the rights to their story with the podcast.
To make a movie.
To make like a HBO limited series type prestige. So she wants to do like Mayor of Easttown.
When she plays, what's her name?
When
Jan.
she plays
She wants to play
Jan.
Jan.
She wants like
She
sharp
wants-
objects with Amy Adams.
Yeah. And she's like, I want Charles. I need Charles cast as Charles.
Is she told him that she was just he's like, oh, because I thought you were insane, and she was like, no, but I don't know, I think she would totally fuck Charles if he was down.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I thought the show did a good job of making that a little cloudy.
Yeah,
Where you're like, wait a minute, is
Yeah.
she actually attracted to Charles
Right.
or
Yeah,
not?
no.
because like, and then they cut it right at like where it was, if you just leave it on that, she's telling the truth. You know, she was like, no, but I don't know, because she hung that painting up
Real quick.
she had them
Knowing who
old
it
man
was.
balls on
Yeah.
her wall.
yeah. He had lots of luggage.
So and then let me just say, because I was kind of ticking this off. Charles is recruited for a Brazos reboot.
Uncle Brazos.
Uncle Brazos.
He was into it too. He's like, yeah, I'm a regular.
Yeah.
Now,
He's
was
like,
it-
that's,
who-
he's
was
like,
the
that's a
girl-
steady paycheck.
But was the girl gonna play the regular Brazos? Was she black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I got from like the silhouette and her hair.
Yeah.
And like her name was Naomi Jackson. I was like, oh, I think
They're like, your
sister
niece
to me.
by marriage. Or
Yeah,
maybe-
Yeah,
they did.
yeah,
They said,
exactly.
man, you could
Yeah.
be an uncle by marriage, or you could just be uncle.
a
as
close friend that she calls uncle, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. But they were
And
like,
he was
you
like,
got.
but is this an offer?
But like with all of it, I would say, except with Mabel's, the key is you got to be innocent. You got to keep your ass out of jail and trouble. Right? At the end of it is what that comes down to. So the line that you liked was when they were talking about their online popularity and the hashtag Ollie Mabel.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's the hashtag that represents all of us. And Charles was like, where's Charles? He said, the Charles is silent. Oh my God.
What I love about both of like so far in this season is Oliver has not been included in anything. They cut him out of the press paper.
He's being upset about it.
Yes.
He's not getting framed. Like
When
the other two have been framed, he hasn't been framed.
Yes.
Like
He's like, I'm way more compelling and interesting than them. I don't know why I'm not being framed.
he's still just not being thought about. It's fucking.
But he was framed last season, right? Yeah, I think it wasn't it because of his dog?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so, yeah. I thought it was so funny when they come out of the police station and they're like, oh,
the
no.
news. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Oliver's like, oh, no, like, no questions, and I'm just like you.
Yes.
Like, after he intentionally goes back up the stairs to answer questions.
Yes.
And then he's like, no questions, I'm just like you.
He also was like not using the hashtag name right. And she told him that, and he goes, oh, it has gotten away from me. And then when she gets the text from Charles, I think in the first episode, and his name is Charles Old.
Oh.
That's how she differentiates her. So we learned in the first episode that Bunny, before she died, said two things to Mabel, 14 and Savage. And it's so funny because I forgot Charles's name was Savage until you said it, like when we were sitting down, like I think before we watched the episode. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was not putting that together at all.
I was like, 14 Savage. What is that? 21 Savage's little brother?
He's a week older than him.
He's 14.
So they search Bunny's apartment for clues, and they end up overhearing Oma and Howard.
Yeah.
There was a painting that Bunny had that they call it like a pornographic, erotic painting.
Like full frontal.
Yeah, just balls forward. Painting that she had by an artist named Rose Collins, I believe.
Cooper,
thank you. And that it is worth like $1 million.
$1.5 million.
Now it's interesting because was she doing this because she was helping with Bunny's estate? Because she was like, I'm going to take it to get appraised.
She was taking this to take the money. Like,
really?
Yes, that's how I took it. Like, hey, if she's dead, I'm taking this painting. I
bet you she did it. Because there was at one point in this episode where she said that Bunny didn't have anybody but her. But then she also felt like she kind of callously was going to get rid of the bird. Like she said something like, I knew I should have gotten rid of that bird or something like that.
I got to find a place to get this bird out of here.
Yeah. And then she goes, oh, I was looking over her will again. I gave her will a closer look. I'm like, that's not how that works.
Right.
They're not like, you stare harder and like the words unjumble or something. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how did you miss this the first time that her fucking bird goes to Charles or Oliver or whoever the fuck got the bird?
Oliver.
So
I don't know, because like at one, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but like at one point when Oliver gets that card and he sees somebody wrote, "I want that painting."
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't they revisit that? like who wanted that
sure
card? I assumed
board,
it was the mom. Like that's what I assumed, but I don't know.
I don't remember what the card said. I mean, was it a birthday card?
Yeah, it was like a birthday card.
Like a greeting card of some sort.
Yeah.
But inside it was like.
But obviously the key's going to be the way the handwriting style.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because we find out later from Bunny's mother, that Leonora, I think her name is, that the painting is a replica.
Right.
So it's like, why would Bunny have a replica made?
Where's the real one? Because she knows she had.
So she knew somebody was after it. They escape. They're hiding in the closet, and so they overhear that this painting is missing, and turns out that Bunny's apartment had a secret elevator behind this closet, and it leads out to the back of the building, down to the back of the building, right?
And that's what we find out
where the dumpsters are,
right?
We find out later.
The guy that built the building,
architect, right?
Yeah,
he
was a creeper.
Oh my god! So his name was Carter, and he had a daughter who married a man named Folger, and then they had Bunny. So Leonora, the woman, Shirley MacLaine's character, her father built the building, and then she married a man named Folger, and they had Bunny, and they raised Bunny in the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she lived there her entire life.
Yes, in that one apartment. Like, even her parents moved out before she did. Like, what? How that work?
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, honestly, you got a nice apartment like that. I don't know why you would want to leave.
I would absolutely. When they did that, like, they opened up episode 2 going through what I just said, how this building came to be. And they were talking about how in the 50s and 60s, that area was a lot of, like, middle class, immigrant families, aspiring artists and such. And I was just, I was just like, wow, white people really don't even understand. Like, what even is that? Like, and that's the thing. Like, there's people that just grew up living in buildings like this.
Right.
And that those are just their apartments.
Yep. Like, just having a $1.5 million painting just hanging around.
A ugly ass, old ass man, white wrinkled balls, $1.5 million painting. Nico, relax. Kaylee, come get your dog. So, and it was interesting because I felt like, I honestly wondered, because they were doing this thing in the first episode. I don't know so much in the second episode, maybe, where they were dressing Selena Gomez like they were trying to hide a pregnancy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
She has so many coats.
Right? I was like, what are we doing? Like,
I
so
felt
to
like
the
they did
point.
that in the first season, though, too.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I just felt like it. I honestly, and the thing is, though, I know that she has had. I think she has an illness.
She does.
She has I don't remember. She has
Yeah,
an
but-
illness,
yeah.
and I know, like, I feel like it affects, from what I've heard, and I don't know. Stan say stuff, but I think somebody criticized her voice, and they were saying it's because of her illness. Like,
Right.
Stan was like, "Don't." And I think I've read over the past few years that it affects her weight. But, like, I don't know that I've seen shows dress characters like that for that. Like, if you gain weight, you gain weight.
Right.
But, like, I feel like the only time I've seen them, Nico, Kaylee, the only time I've seen them do that is when an actress is pregnant and the character isn't.
Right.
So they hide it because of that. So I just felt like this first episode, there were, like, so many things she wore. And so when they were making the escape in the closet, and she's like, hold on, it's cold. And she grabbed all those fur coats. I was like, what are we doing?
It's like, you just stole these, like, hundreds of dollars worth of coats.
Yes. I was like, what is happening? And it just felt like an excuse to have her, because then this is when she agrees to do the show again, right? And she stands up on the
Oh, she's bipolar also.
Yeah.
up on the fountain. Like, it just felt like an excuse to have her covered in that, you know? Or even the dress she wore to the gallery, and then she wore that coat, like, over it. But, so, I don't know. But I don't follow celebrity, like, or like that. Well, I don't follow Selena Gomez like that. I do follow some celebrities like this.
7 of them.
Right, exactly. And I don't think any of them are pregnant. So, but I don't know. So I didn't know if you guys had, like, heard. I think the last thing I heard about her is people were speculating whether or not she was dating Chris Evans, which I'm totally here for.
Yeah, they haven't officially come out or anything like that,
No.
but they seem to have a really good relationship.
That's good. But anyway, I didn't know if it was me. I thought at this point one of y'all would be like, oh yeah, she's pregnant. And I'll be like, oh, okay. That makes sense. But I felt like people were, like, kind of covering her a lot.
Yeah, I mean, all I noticed was that she is wearing a lot of coats. Like, I was like, she got lots of fucking coats. Like, she shows up with a different coat every time. I'm like, how many coats does she have?
Yeah.
Like, I got one coat that's good, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this coat a lot because it's my coat.
At the end of the first episode, though, we learned that Bunny's porn painting is in Charles's house, and that the man in the painting is his father. And what's funny about this, among other things, like, there's a lot of funny things, but one of the funny things about this is that when this happens, like, you know, we don't see what the big deal is. Like, he comes home, he sees something, he texts them, come quick, and then they walk in, and then we see that the painting is there. And then it's, what's her name? Mabel, who's like, Charles, is that you? Because I didn't think it looked like him at all until she said that.
Yeah, I mean, it just had a guy with white hair.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then when she was like, Charles, is that you? And he goes, no, that's my father. I'm like, rewind.
I was like, what? How?
What?
And it was interesting that they were able to do such a good job of, like, once you find out, like, he was having an affair or whatever, and it's like he was sleeping with 2 people and all this, like, it made sense. You're like, oh yeah, like, I get now how he ended up in a painting that Bunny had.
Yes.
And I was like, it made sense. Like, they've done a good job of explaining how insular this community is in this building.
These white folks was freaky. Okay? There's some shit. These white folks with money on the Upper West Side or East Side, wherever we are, I forget. They got money. And
I think it's going to... This season's obviously going to be about who killed Bunny, but I think they're also going to intertwine what happened to that lady because she went missing.
Yeah.
And I think his father was
and that's
to blame
probably
for
and
it,
that's
but
what's going to set their podcast apart.
It's probably going to be tied. Both
They
of them
did 2 murders in the first season. It'll be another 2 murders this season.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so when we learned... wait, John, what did you just say?
I said they're going to be tied together.
Yes.
They're gonna find because it's a painting of his
Mm-hmm.
father. Like
Mm-hmm.
so, like both of the murders or at least her disappearance, if she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
murdered, like it's gonna be tied to the Bunny murder.
Yeah. And we find out, like, we don't, like, when she asked him about his dad, Bunny's mother, he was like, oh, nothing good, this, that. Like, I wonder if, like, what happened to him. Because we don't know what the fuck was going on back then.
Right.
Like, something was going on. Like when he... Okay, so let me just say this. The second episode begins with that explanation of how the building came to be and how Bunny came to live there. But we also learn that Charles's dad was an aspiring actor, but he kept his audition secret from his wife, who was a dream killer.
It was like, yeah, his auditions.
It was so bright. So, like, that's how they first introduced it to us, right? And then he was walking down the street with him, Charles as a child, helping him run lines. And then the dad is like, stops and he points to the Arconia. And he's like, son, when I make it big, we're going to live in a building like that. And I'm thinking I was like, oh, that's how Charles got into this.
I think Charles like, oh, okay,
like,
so this is what you want to do when you get big.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't remember if Charles's father had been an actor too. So I was like, oh, that's how I was like, that's
right,
cool.
Yeah, that was my first thought, why he was even in this
got
painting.
big. Yeah. Right?
Generational. It's almost like Ron Howard and his dad. Rance.
Do you have a painting of Rance's balls?
No, but I mean, like, Rance Howard wasn't really an actor, but then, like, he was an actor, but he wasn't really super successful, but that's how...
Gotcha.
That's how Ron Howard got into it,
Got it.
because Rance was already in the business.
Right. So they plan to put the painting back into Bunny's house during her memorial, because according to the theory on their podcast, and popular theory out there in the streets, is that whoever has the painting killed Bunny. So the painting being in Charles's apartment is a problem, but they are...
This is so funny when Howard's at the door and he's like, I agree. Whoever has that painting is the killer. And then Oliver's like, we're kind of coming off of that theory.
When, he tells him about the memorial service going on in the apartment right then, and they're like, yeah, people don't want to see us. But, like, he makes this good point. He's like, if you're not the killers, the killer will be there, and then, you're investigating, whatever. So, when he leaves, they come up with a plan that they can use that to put the painting back. But the way they refer to it, he goes, we can go to Bunny's shindig. Like it's a fucking party. I was like, it's her memorial service. So, at the service, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, in like the same way that, like, Alice, I think, is sketchy, and, like, Amy Schumer is sketchy, like, Howard is sketchy as fuck with the way he's talking about it.
Yeah.
And he's got a black eye. Yeah, it's
right.
And then, like, what the fuck happened with his face? I don't
right.
think it's probably going to be none of those things.
Right. Just like last season. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
But it does make me wonder if the killer was at the memorial service.
Yeah, I feel like
it's going to be Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they said that, so the fact that they said it, I think that has to be true. Like
right later on, we'll realize that that they were there.
And so like that was the thing. Is like I was thinking it might have been Leonora.
Yeah, because she wanted the painting.
Yeah, because she wanted that fucking painting, and like.
And she could be responsible for both. She could be responsible for that lady missing too, if she was having an affair.
Yeah, I mean, she ended up getting jealous, didn't want to share.
Yeah.
But like when she was trying to cut that cheese,
yeah, she could hit
it. She finally just stabbed it.
We talked about the note on the dip at the memorial service, but we also met a new character. This is the new head of the board, yes. Nina Lim. And she is pregnant
With Rosemary's Baby.
With Rosemary's Baby, according to Howard. And I guess she's like a hedge fund manager. And he was like, if you thought Bunny was a bitch, like... And then, like, they kept... Like, he would say things and they'd question him about it, but then he'd be like, not here. And then he said something and Mabel was like, wait, do you think of something? And he was like, oh, Mabel, not here. Like, well, where can we go to spill the tea, sis? Like, let's hurry it up. Because I wanted to know why this woman is such a bitch already. Because I don't think, like, yeah, she introduced herself. So it's not like she even was there last season.
No.
I want to see, like, like, when they showed the mural in episode 2. I saw that black woman who she shared a wall with the dead guy.
She wanted,
yeah. So I don't remember if she was there, but also there was the what was he, a therapist? The black guy who's like, I now take PayPal and Venmo and Cash App and Bitcoin. Remember, like, as the season went on, he accepted more currency. So, let's see. Where were we? So, yeah, Bunny's mom says the painting is hers, and then they fuck around and leave it outside. I was so annoyed with them.
I was like, probably
Steve Martin had one job. Charles, one job.
Probably the time when I laughed the hardest. And, like, honestly, it was, like, all of them. Because, like, when the door closes, that was another one. I was like, it was so funny. Because they're like, are you kidding me? But I think the thing was, like, when they're getting in the elevator with the painting, and the doorman or whatever is like, hey, let me help you with that. He's like, back off, old man.
Yes.
And he was like, well, at least let me ride down with you. And he's like, there's no place in here for you.
He's like, let me just let me do my job.
I had no idea what was going on. There's no place in here for you, old man. Oh man, it's so funny.
So of course it's not there when they go back looking for it, and it turns out it's in Amy Schumer's apartment because she found it and put it out
while she was in the dumpster.
Yes.
They never questioned that either.
Nope.
I wouldn't either.
And when she was like, no, of course this is all, contingent upon you not being a murderer, because my lawyer said I can't go into business with a murderer again. So, and then Charles remembers his dad catting across the street with Rose Cooper or whatever her name was, and has a chat with Bunny's mother about that, and learns that he was catting with her too.
I like when he was talking to her at the memorial service or whatever, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm in Brazos, and she's like, oh yeah, that's a great show to have in the background while you're dying.
Yes. Mabel wrecks herself literally, and then it gets gay with her and Alice, who I don't trust.
Yeah. When she was like, I kind of metaphorically meant for you to destroy it.
And when I just drew a blank. What's the guy's name? My God.
Which one?
Oh God. Steve Martin. Charles. So he sends her home, right? The mother, right?
Yes.
Hold on.
She gets in her car. He sent her off.
Yeah.
And then, before she goes, they find out that it was a replica because they don't know that she's at Charles's house. And they just come up and Oliver's like, Amy Schumer has Bunny's painting in her apartment. And
they're going to think she's the killer.
Right. And she shows up with a cocotini in her hand. She did not leave the drink. She shows up at the store with the cocotini. saying, this is my painting. Now, which is interesting, though, because like you said, John, it's like, if you think that, like, she didn't seem to care that Amy Schumer could have been the killer. Her
She
daughter.
wanted that painting.
She wanted that. It was probably her. And I would imagine that elevator is going to come into play, right?
But then who's moving around the paintings if that was? So why?
Because like somebody wants to.
But that means she's working with somebody
in the building.
Because what if you're killing somebody for a painting? Then why would you move the painting around? So it would have to be somebody that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you,
I
think they went to take the painting. They killed her for the painting, and they figured out it was a replica, and now she's dead, and they don't have the painting. But I think she used some sort of secret. Remember, because we knew that last season, and now we're learning more this season. So there's definitely going to be more secret passageways and stuff like that in this building. And I think they didn't count on her getting away from wherever they attacked her and falling into Mabel's apartment. And because remember when she was already in there, and she said something like she appeared out of nowhere. So you see what I'm saying? I think
Right.
Bunny, to escape whoever stabbed her, used some sort of secret way to get into Mabel's apartment. And then the killer, now having a scapegoat with the people at the pot, those three ding-dongs, they probably think, oh, it's very easy to set them up. So I think that's why they did that. But you're right. It would have to be somebody in the building.
Right.
It's gonna be his dad.
It's gonna be.
His dad's not dead.
His dad's not dead.
He was like, oh, do you think Bunny is my sister?
He's like, this painting really belongs to you.
Or it could be like Rose. What's her name? She disappeared. Maybe she's. Have y'all seen Encanto?
No.
Well, fuck it. Y'all should have seen it already. Bruno's in the walls.
That's disgusting. What the fuck is that even about? Like, that's fucking terrible. What? Is that why we don't talk about Bruno? Because they were making him live in a fucking wall?
Yeah, I think they think he left, but actually he's been in the wall the whole time.
Dead?
But no, not dead.
Oh.
Like living in it. It's a Disney movie. We're not gonna have a dead body just hanging out.
No, we don't go that far. It's a Disney movie. Nina. Excuse the fuck out of me for asking stupid fucking questions.
But yeah, I mean, that just reminded me, like, what if Rose has just been like living in the walls, and that's where she disappeared to?
That's creepy.
But why is she didn't live in that building though?
Yeah, she looks.
She lived
she
across
could've.
the street.
She could have come across the street.
I guess.
Or she just.
I mean, it's
changed
right across the street.
What if she just changed her identity and she's one of the women that live here in that company?
What if she's Uma?
I mean, is she that age?
I don't know. I feel like Oma would have been. Oma would have been probably closer to Bunny's age, right? They were like friends.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That they were probably around the same, and around Steve Martin's age, and around Martin Short's age.
It's gonna be Mabel's grandmother.
Her what?
Her grandmother that lives there.
Her aunt.
Aunt, that's it. But it's gonna be her.
Maybe her aunt is Rose.
Yeah.
I mean, she is an artist.
She is an artist.
And they haven't said anything. Like, Charles hasn't told them the story yet, so
And
the name wouldn't come up of who drew the painting and all that, painted the painting and all that stuff.
Well, they know.
Oh,
right?
do they know?
Don't they? Mabel and Oliver.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know who. They know. Yeah.
Because she said, because he told them my dad was sleeping
but
with
like
Rose.
I said,
and...
Rose could have, because
Yeah,
she went
yeah.
missing, so she could definitely change her identity or something.
Oh my god, I got a whiff of something. It smelled like hot sauce, and like now I just want like chicken, like fried chicken with some hot sauce. It's crazy.
I mean, that wouldn't be her aunt though. Like that would like Rose would be like her grandmother or something.
Right.
Unless when she says aunt, she means like great aunt.
Right.
but she just calls her her aunt.
Right.
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, that's it. We don't have any feedback yet. A bunch of people like the feedback post, though. I don't know. I feel like, listen, there's a lot of fucking TV. I am, like, not even mad at it because Stranger Things and this and The Boys, like, all of that was, you know, within a day of each other. Some of it on the same day. So, I get it. But, anyway.
There's just a couple more things. Just one more, like, when it was so funny when they're like, that's not Charles in the painting, and then so then Amy Schumer was like, fine, then I don't want it. Get out of my Sting's apartment.
Yes, my Sting's
right. Sting's apartment.
I have here on my wall. I have here on my notes. Amy had a replica. Semicolon. Don't want random balls on her wall.
I mean, you know, who does? Really?
They played on it when he first meets Amy Schumer in the elevator, and he said something about Sting being a police, and she's like, Sting was a police officer.
And then another thing is when Alma or whatever her name is gives Oliver the bird. And then Mabel's like, even in death, Bunny figures out a way to give you the bird.
Yeah.
And then Oliver's like, oh, it's a good line. I wish I was recording. And Mabel's like, I was. He's like, oh, God, I hope I'm not turning into you.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, the way the episode ends, the bird says that...
I know who did it.
Who did it.
I told Donnie, the moment they discovered the bird was they could hear, like, her voice. Mm-hmm. And, I was like, it's a bird. It has to be a bird. And, like, from then, I was like, that bird knows everything. Right? Like, it knows everything.
Right.
So, like, who said, I know who did it in front of the bird?
John, you're getting too real here.
Wait, what?
It's a TV show.
Because the bird can't be like, I know who did it. The bird can only say
should only repeat what people say.
But what if the bird can repeat things it heard, but knows how to put it in context?
Well, then that's not real.
Like, what if the bird is like, oh, I know who did it.
What if the bird
and then
is
they're
Disney-fied?
like, and they realize when it's said, so it's like, okay, I have that in my back pocket. I know how to say I know.
It's like, what if the bird is Iago from Aladdin?
Yeah,
and it can just talk.
And tell jokes.
So who said I know who did it?
Yeah, because unless they're taking poetic liberty or whatever, like artistic license, and they're not actually going to explain who said that.
Oh, I thought you were saying they're taking artistic liberties with birds, and they were going to say that's how it works. That in context, that bird knew how to say that in context. Like they're going to pull out.
That would be ridiculous.
Do you know, like imagine it's like me. Like, I have 3 years worth of Korean. That's not like a whole lot, but I can cobble together something. I may not know how to say every word, but I know how to say some words, like the words I want to say. And that's what I want it to be.
Yeah, I know S.
Like when they're like, okay, can you tell me if the person is white, black, Hispanic? The bird's gonna be like, Polly wants a cracker. See, contextually, it's gonna say the things it knows how to say, and you just gotta fit it into context. So Polly wants a cracker. It's a white person. I really want this to be how it works, and it's not, and I'm going to be so disappointed. Like I am when it's not gay.
This is the game of Guess Who with this bird.
But if it's just repeating what someone said, it could just be like, maybe...
someone could have said it at the memorial service in front of the bird. Like, I know who did it, and they're just gossiping.
Yeah, because I'm just feeling like the secret passageway, all of that, I feel like it's going to come into play. And I just feel like that bird, maybe something the bird says that they don't take seriously
But,
is going to be, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to play it off and it's going to make sense later.
It's going to be some stupid stuff, like, because we already learned it in these episodes that the cat, was it with Henry? Is that the cat guy's name? Howard says that when he's like, oh yeah, I listened to your guys' podcast and I figured it out in episode 6 or whatever. He's like, why didn't you tell me? We could have ended this a long time ago. But it could have been like Howard's next to the birds, like, oh, I know who did it.
Yeah.
Just listen to the podcast.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. It's just hilarious. I know it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, I hope that they do actually have it where that someone said that in front of the bird, because like it could very well be just like a way to end the episode, right?
Yeah. And
then like they don't ever actually revisit the fact that this bird said this or why this bird said it or whatever. Like,
but I think that with their humor and stuff, they're gonna continue using this bird.
I feel
like the show is better than that, though. I feel like the show is going to put this into a context where it actually makes sense.
Right. I feel like it may be cleared up as early as the beginning of the next episode, where it's just this bird repeating a conversation it heard and they figure that out. Like the person who replies says, "Who, Alma?" like that, and it might just be a very short thing to just even establish that the bird has that kind of recall.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, what it could do, like what I think would make a lot of sense, is if the bird just says that, and then instead of them taking it literally that the bird is telling them, "I know who did it," but they just go, "Oh, like this bird was in that room when she presumably got stabbed, so maybe the bird will say something." And they won't actually take "I know who did it" as like a literal thing the bird is saying. And it's just like, oh, we should use the bird and see if we can get anything out of it.
Okay, well, that, I think we kind of picked that apart, those 2 episodes. Like I said before, we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about the next 2 episodes. In the meantime, though, we will be covering the finale of The Boys, which is this upcoming week. We still have 2 more episodes of Miss Marvel, right?
Yeah, 6 episodes
6
in total.
total, right. Westworld is just getting started. And what else is the other thing? Oh, we already finished with Obi-Wan. Oh, but we will be diving into Umbrella Academy and... Oh my God, look at me being an idiot. I got the schedule open right here, y'all. I'm finally got it. Oh, Umbrella Academy and Money Heist Korea once we're done with Miss Marvel and The Boys, right? Yes. Oh, and Stranger Things. We're recording for the Stranger Things season 4 finale tomorrow. And so by the time this comes out, what did we just talk about? Look at me. I'm trying to remember. So many podcasts.
The Boys?
No, only Murders in the Building. Oh. I meant just talked about. That's how bad my memory is. By the time this comes out tomorrow, you guys will have the Stranger Things finale to look forward to. So anyway, lots of good stuff to keep you busy until we return with only Murders in the Building. Some of that stuff is premium, but some is free, right? Or did I just name a bunch of premium stuff? Oh, well, I guess you'll just have to go sign up, right? Yeah, this is all premium. Sorry.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/podcastfandom.
Yeah, if you want to hear us talk about all of that shit I just said. I'm scrolling through the schedule. I'm like, yeah, premium. Yeah. Except, though, I will be uploading, there is something that is coming up for free. Well, the first episode of the new stuff that we cover, like new seasons, that stuff goes up for free. But the last K-drama that we covered over on Premium, Inspector Ku, that whole coverage will be uploaded for free this month as well. So,
what is what is tomorrow?
It's a K-drama about Grim Reapers.
So the first episode of that will be free or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Umbrella Academy is going to be, like I said, I pushed that back because, again, so much going on and I was getting overwhelmed. And I was like, you know what? We don't have to start it right away. So that's going to be like mid-month. And we'll be a bit ahead on that. Oh my gosh. Oh, you know what? I have to add Paper Girls to the end of July. They released a date for that. I'm so glad it's the end of July because it'll bleed into August when we have House of the Dragon, which I'm super excited about. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. I still got to go record one more podcast before my bedtime. My lovely, lovely weekends. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next time.